It all presumably began in 1896, when a famous French filmmaker produced a short and silent horror film that was about 3 minutes long. The film featured various supernatural elements, including a supernatural bat inside a haunted and dimly lit medieval castle. Attention, dear viewers! Before diving deep into the horror graveyard, make sure you trash the sinfully buttered popcorn and replace it with a delicious, dressing-free salad. Meanwhile, if fear starts to creep in, then don't forget to snuggle up under a cozy blanket. Released in the year 1920, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari is a psychological horror film set in a small German town. The evil Dr. Caligari uses a sleepwalker to commit homicides. Of course, the sleepwalker does not remember any of his murders after waking up. In the classic horror movie Frankenstein, directed by James Whale, the main character, Victor Frankenstein, exhumes dead bodies from graveyards. He then creates a living creature from dead body parts, leading to deadly consequences. In Dracula, Bela Lugosi, who plays the role of Count Dracula, feeds on living victims, magically transforms them into creepy vampires, uses hypnotic powers to manipulate people, magically converts himself into a bat to avoid detection, and aims to spread vampirism. Directed by Karl Freund, the 1932 film The Mummy is a renowned horror classic. It narrates the story of a dead Egyptian priest who attempts to reunite with his lost love after getting resurrected by an archaeologist. Now that's a horror comedy for sure. In the film The Invisible Man, the main character learns how to become invisible, but uses this rare skill to indulge in disturbing conduct. This includes secretly observing women, including his own fiancée. Directed by Earl C. Kenton, the 1932 sci-fi horror movie Island of Lost Souls portrays a mad scientist who conducts controversial and highly unethical experiments on a secluded island. The main character transforms animals into human-like beings, thereby violating animal rights and the code of research ethics. In the movie Cat People, the protagonist Irina Dubrovna believes that she may transform into a deadly panther-like creature when aroused, which greatly troubles her seemingly flirtatious husband. In The Night of the Hunter, Reverend Harry Powell is portrayed as a religious fanatic and serial killer who hunts women he deems seductive and manipulative. Harry's distorted sense of morality drives him to target susceptible women and carry out unacceptable acts of violence. Directed by William Castle, House on Haunted Hill is a classic horror movie that became popular for a slightly different reason. Select theaters equipped with the Emergo system featured a skeleton on a wire that would fly over the audience during a specific movie scene in the movie, eliciting both cries and laughter. The actual movie portrays a rich guy who is ready to offer $10,000 to anyone who spends a night inside a haunted mansion. As expected, the movie is full of supernatural occurrences. Alfred Hitchcock's acclaimed psychological horror film Psycho was released in the year 1960. The movie depicts the story of a fraudulent secretary who seeks refuge in a remote motel, where she encounters the troubled owner, Norman Bates, of the now iconic Bates Motel. The movie has a dedicated global fan base. Bernard Herrmann's creepy violin score was instrumental in building suspense and tension in the film, which originally had zero background music. The Innocents is a 1961 psychological horror film that revolves around a governess who believes that the children in her custody are possessed by evil spirits. Whether the supernatural occurrences are real or products of the lady's imagination remains undetermined even today. Night of the Living Dead is a 1968 zombie horror film directed by George A. Romero. It depicts a group of strangers trapped in a farmhouse during a zombie apocalypse. As they struggle hard to survive, tensions rise, and the film explores themes of fear, distrust, and societal collapse during the zombie attack. The Exorcist, directed by William Friedkin, is a landmark horror film that revolves around a mother's harrowing ordeal as she tries to save her possessed daughter from the evil clutches of a demon. The movie is famous among movie fans for its chilling and visceral portrayal of exorcism. The chilling facial features of Linda Blair in The Exorcist established a new benchmark in Hollywood. This remarkable work earned Dick Smith an Academy Award for Best Makeup. In the movie The Wicker Man, we see a devout Christian police officer visiting a remote Scottish island for investigating the disappearance of a young child. During his police investigations, he comes to know about the island's pagan rituals. He also becomes a central figure in a disturbing and horrifying culmination of pagan religious practices, leading to a not-so-happy ending. A group of friends encounters a family of deranged and cannibalistic killers in rural Texas in the movie The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The film is notorious for its intense portrayal of violence and madness. It features a chainsaw-wielding ruthless killer named Leatherface. Jaws, directed by Steven Spielberg, revolves around a coastal town terrorized by a giant man-eating great white shark. A police chief, a marine biologist, and a shark hunter set out to stop the deadly creature. The epic movie creates intense suspense and fear even today. The Tenant is a classic psychological horror film directed by Roman Polanski. It narrates the story of a man who rents an apartment and becomes increasingly paranoid when he suspects his neighbors are conspiring against him, ultimately leading to his descent into madness and identity crisis. The movie depicts psychological and social themes and does not focus much on supernatural occurrences. The Omen is a classic horror film from 1976. Directed by Richard Donner, it is based in the story of an American diplomat who gradually begins to realize that his adopted son is the Antichrist, leading to a series of chilling events and supernatural occurrences as he tries to prevent the imminent apocalypse. Suspiria is a scary Italian movie from 1977. It tells the story of a young American dancer who goes to a famous ballet school in Germany. The young dancer eventually realizes that the school is full of witches and spooky things. The movie is famous for its bright colors, bizarre images, and haunting music. Carrie is a horror movie from 1976 that tells the story of Carrie White, an introverted and bullied student with telekinetic powers. After surviving a cruel prank, she unleashes her terrifying abilities, ultimately leading to a violent and tragic climax. Halloween is a classic horror film directed by John Carpenter. Centered on the iconic character of Michael Myers, it tells the story of a masked killer who escapes from a mental institution and returns to his hometown. The film is renowned for its exceptionally suspenseful atmosphere. Moreover, it has played a key role in popularizing the slasher genre in horror cinema. Did you know that the movie Halloween was shot in just 20 days? Nevertheless, it became one of the most iconic and successful horror films ever made. The horror movie The Shining revolves around a family taking care of a remote hotel that is haunted. The spooky isolation and the depicted supernatural occurrences are scary and truly iconic. In the cult classic The Evil Dead, we come across a group of friends who unintentionally summon sinister forces while staying in a remote cabin, leading to a nightmarish battle for survival. The movie gained popularity among horror movie fans for its low-budget creativity and gory special effects. Released in 1982, Poltergeist is a horror film directed by Tobe Hooper and co-produced by Steven Spielberg. The plot follows a suburban family plagued by malicious spirits, with their young daughter at the center of the supernatural disturbances. The film has gained recognition for its eerie and iconic moments, such as the haunting television scene. The Thing is a sci-fi horror flick known for its intense atmosphere and terrifying creature effects. A group of researchers in Antarctica discover a shape-shifting alien organism that instills fear among them. The film is often cited as a classic in both the horror and sci-fi genres. In the year 1984, director Wes Craven brought us A Nightmare on Elm Street. A group of teenagers get harmed while dreaming. This particular film is known for its unforgettable antagonist, Freddy, and its ability to blur the boundaries separating dreams and reality. The movie is suspenseful and absolutely terrifying. By the way, did you know that Johnny Depp made his acting debut in this film? The movie Fright Night technically belongs to the horror comedy genre. The story revolves around a teenager who discovers that his neighbor is a vampire. To combat the blood-sucking neighbor, the teenager seeks the help of a late-night horror show host. In Silence of the Lambs, a young FBI trainee seeks the help of the brilliant but insane Dr. Hannibal Lecter, an imprisoned serial killer, to catch another notorious serial killer on the loose. The horror flick Scream depicts a small town that is terrorized by a masked killer. The killer targets teenagers. Quite interestingly, this movie has generated plenty of parodies. The famous American movie The Ring from 2002 is actually an adaptation of the Japanese movie Ringa from 1998. The original movie follows a journalist's investigation into a cursed videotape that causes viewers to die 7 days after watching it. This J-horror classic significantly influenced the horror genre after its release in 1998. The movie was remade in Hindi and Korean languages. In 1999, The Blair Witch Project emerged as a found-footage horror film, tracking the experience of 3 filmmakers who disappear while exploring a mysterious forest in Maryland. The movie instills fear through subtle hints and minimal visual effects. In the movie The Sixth Sense, a troubled child psychologist attempts to help a young boy who claims to see and communicate with the dead, only to discover a shocking twist about himself. Nicole Kidman stars in the movie The Others, 2001. In a dark and secluded mansion, a woman cares for her light-sensitive children and believes that her house is haunted. The movie has an extremely surprising revelation. Don't worry, we will not share any spoilers here. 28 days later. In a post-apocalyptic city, a group of survivors try their best to protect themselves from rage-infected zombies. Did you see Saw? Well, pardon the wordplay. Jokes apart, the movie shows 2 strangers waking up in a creepy and remotely monitored bathroom. They are forced to play a sadistic game by a notorious serial killer called Jigsaw. Made on an extremely low budget of around $15,000, the 2007 horror movie Paranormal Activity went on to gross over $193 million worldwide. Did you know that the movie has 3 alternate endings? Well, different versions were shown in different theaters. Which one did you watch? Do let us know in the comments section below. The Conjuring, a movie based on the true story of 2 paranormal investigators. The film shows hauntings inside a spooky farmhouse and the terror it brings to the people living inside it. Do you know who David F. Sandberg is? You will come across his iconic YouTube video if you search for Lights Out on YouTube. Very few people know that the same David F. Sandberg directed the 2016 Hollywood movie Lights Out. Annabelle. Creation is a prequel to Annabelle. The movie explores the origins of the sinister doll and shows plenty of paranormal occurrences. A Quiet Place from 2018 is set in a post-apocalyptic world where our planet has been overrun by blind, sound-sensitive creatures. These deadly creatures attack or hunt anything that makes noise. In the 2018 horror movie The Nun, a priest and a novice uncover a malevolent force that threatens their lives and souls. In fact, this movie is a spin-off and prequel to The Conjuring 2. It reveals the hidden origin of the sinister nun. In the horror flick Talk to Me from 2023, a group of friends stumbles upon a way to summon spirits using a well-preserved hand, leading them into an addictive world of excitement and high-stakes party games. However, their newfound obsession takes a dark turn when one of them pushes the boundaries too far, inadvertently unleashing horrifying supernatural creatures. Enjoyed watching this spooky video? Haunt the like button and make sure you subscribe to the Journal of Epic Stories for stories that really matter.